Open up your article to page 2. We are going to read the subheading or subtitle, History of Transportation. And we're going to read this section on page 2 and page 3. Let's get started. Communities on the move. Transportation did not change much for many decades after the first Europeans came to North America. Those first settlers used carts with wheels, animals, and boats. Early inventors in Europe had also designed very simple hot air balloons and submarines. Leonardo da Vinci designed plans for a human flying machine. After America became an independent country, transportation seemed to get better almost every day. 1769, which is right here on the timeline. The first self-propelled road vehicle. Many men had tried to design a machine on wheels that would run on its own power. In 1769, a Frenchman named Nicolas Joseph Cugnot succeeded. His military tractor had a steam engine to provide power. The machine had 3 wheels and ran on 2.5 miles per hour. Cugnot later invented a similar machine that carried passengers. Unfortunately, in 1771, Cugnot's machine may have been involved in the first vehicle accident. It crashed into a stone wall when the driver lost control. 1787, the steamboat, which is right here. For many centuries, people traveled by water. Early boats and ships used the wind for power. But in 1787, John Finch invented a boat powered by steam. He even built one that could carry people. Finch was proud of his steamboat. 20 years later, Robert Fulton improved Finch's design. Fulton's steamboats could travel down to the river at an amazing 5 miles per hour. Soon, steamboats were moving crops, supplies, and people to communities along the river. Many new communities began along the Mississippi and other rivers, thanks to steamboats. 1790, right here, the modern bicycle. Several wooden bicycle machines had been invented before 1790. The rider pushed with his feet to move the machine. French carriage makers Ernest Michaux invented a modern bicycle in 1790. His design included the pedals and the cranks similar to those found on today's bikes. 1814, the first steam engine for locomotives. So a locomotive is a train. 20-year-old George Stephenson built the first steam engine for locomotive completely by hand in 1814. It was the first steam-powered locomotive engine to run on railroad track. This machine did very well. It pulled 30 tons of coal uphill for 4 miles per hour. Stephenson later built the first public railway in his home country in England. 1785, the first modern automobile, right here. Karl Benz of Germany invented a gas-powered car in 1885. The car was known as Benz three-wheeler. Soon, Benz was producing cars for people to buy. His gas-powered engine made it possible for people to have their own powerful transportation machine. 1903, the first airplane. Orville and Wilbur Wright invented the first airplane. The Wright brothers' first inspiration came from watching birds fly. They tried many designs. Some worked better than others. They continued working on their designs. Finally, in 1903, their airplane flew for 12 seconds. Today, thousands of planes are in the sky over the earth every day. 1908, the automobile assembly line. Here. Henry Ford designed motor cars and built them one at a time. He wanted ordinary people to be able to buy an automobile. He wanted to make cars that did not cost a lot of money. He thought the best way to do this was to change the way they were made. Ford set up an assembly line to make it faster and easier to build his Model T. His idea changed the way automobiles and many other things were made. Soon many more families in America were able to afford a car. 1940, modern helicopter. So there's not a picture of a helicopter here. In the 1400s, Leonardo da Vinci designed a helicopter. Throughout the years, many other men designed a flying machine with rotating blades. In 1940, a man from Russia named Igor Sikorsky invented a helicopter that was successful in staying in the air. His work helped other people invent different types of helicopters. Military units from many countries use helicopters today. They can fly any direction. Some can even take off from land and land on water. 1969, man goes to the moon. The United States worked for many years to send a manned spaceship on the moon. Scientists and astronauts studied the moon and how to get there from here. Many people worked for years on the project. Finally, in July 20, 1969, the Apollo 11 lunar module landed on the moon. Astronaut Neil Armstrong was the very first person to walk on the moon. 1981, the space shuttle launched. Scientists wanted to study other parts of outer space too. They wanted to know if people had lived in outer space. They developed a special kind of spaceship called a shuttle. The space shuttle lifted off like a rocket but landed like an airplane. Scientists on space shuttles performed many experiments. They tried to find out what it would be like to live in space. They helped us learn more about their solar system. All right, go ahead and take out your sheet and do the questions on the board.